Welcome to another edition of smarkchat here on youtube.com, and I hope all is well, and I thank you for taking the time to look at this video. Check out my other channel, the Tom Brand 1. Did post some new content up there. It's funny, I promise you. I did kind of like a commentary on news stories that's out there. Funny, I promise you. But I want to give you some of my raw thoughts in no particular order from May the 9th of 2016, and this will be an abbreviated issue. It's really not that big here. Just a few things I want to speak of. You seen Paige on Raw defeating Charlotte Flair, non-title match. Okay, listen, don't expect this to be a push for Paige now. I just simply think that this was just shown to be that Charlotte can't win without her father at ringside. That was the whole stipulation of the match, is that Ric Flair would be barred from ringside, as well as, he would be barred during the pay-per-view match coming up in a couple of weeks. So it's really not to be taken as a push for Paige, not at this point now. Speaking of that match, though, yeah, Natalya on commentary. Man, I don't know if this was by design, but Natalya on commentary was cringe-worthy. Trying to jab insults, exchange insults with JBL. She sounds like she was eaten alive. And it amazes me. Like, none of this roster right now is able to cut promo. They're not. I mean, maybe they should practice doing promos like what Zeb Coulter there did. He was on a shoot interview a couple of years back. And he said that he used to practice promos with his dog in the room. Maybe that might work. Try to elicit a reaction from the dog. But Cat, why can't you cut a promo, man? Why? It just seems like it's so hard. We seen vignettes of Darren Young and Bob Backlund, and I just want to give you my thoughts here. Prior weeks, I really just didn't have much of an opinion of it. But the slogan used is "Make Darren Young Great Again." The question that I have is, was Darren Young ever great again? Was he ever great in the first place? Gotta give Darren Young props, though. He definitely was pitching ideas, and WWE took it and ran with it. Darren Young is going to be repackaged yet again. He was with Nexus. He was with the Primetime Players twice. Mr. No Days Off. And just stop numerous times with this guy. Been off the TV for a while recently. And, with Primetime Players, clearly, in my opinion, at least anyway, Titus O'Neil was the guy with the charisma. Darren Young, he just seems so plain and vanilla to me. This gimmick, with Bob Backlund. The other thing with Bob Backlund is how many people are going to remember, the younger generation, how are they going to remember? Do they remember Bob Backlund? Do they know who Bob Backlund is? How is this going to go over? Could these two make it work? To be seen, I guess, but I just don't get "Make Darren Young Great Again." There's so many people that could have fit this idea. Take, for example, Damian Sandow would have been perfect with this. He would have also been perfect with Vaudevillains if you have nothing to do for him. Man, Damian Sandow, man, I made a video. Can't believe this guy was released, but he would be perfect. Perfect with this gimmick. Make Damian Sandow great again. Intellectual character is Damian Sandow. Intellectual character is Bob Backlund. These two could just go back and forth asking intellectual questions. And, Bob Backlund could ask intellectual questions to Damien Sandow. And Damien Sandow, no matter how ridiculous the questions sound, so how hard they may be, is able to answer every one of them and turns some of the questions around on the crowd. It just could have been so much potential for this. So much potential. I remember back in the day, back in the 90s, I was at a house show, and Bob Backlund was giving out autographs. But before he would sign an autograph, he would ask the fans ridiculous questions. And the stipulation was, jokingly, and he was serious, he would ask ridiculous questions that no one would know. And that would be the stipulation to get the autograph, is to answer the question. He always was, Bob Backlund was always in character back then. Especially when he was running this stuff for the whole presidential election, that type of character. Man, some magical stuff. I just wonder if the audience from nowadays, if they will be able to pick this up and realize what Bob Backlund is doing. Yet to be seen. Bullet Club, now called The Club. 6-man elimination match, teamed up with AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns and the Usos. And I'll be honest with you, as far as this story between AJ Styles and Roman Reigns, AJ Styles is doing majority of the storytelling. Roman Reigns was cheap shot at AJ Styles last week, put him through a table, hit him with a chair. And AJ Styles has yet to retaliate viciously against Roman Reigns. And I don't like the way AJ Styles is being booked so far in this feud. If you remember it was a corny line, but it was different with the Jericho feud. At least that was better than what it is now. AJ Styles would call Y2J, Y2 Jackass, Y2 Jackass, Y2 Jackass. And versus Roman Reigns, AJ Styles is doing nothing. He's being booked like a wimp in this feud. But he's telling a good story. Geez, where do we go? Where do we go? Another thing. Well, Bullet Club, I'm glad that Gallows finally changed his ring attire. He's wearing the long pants. With the silly pants, it looked a little bit... With the short pants, it looked a little bit silly. Maybe it's just me, but glad he changed his ring attire. You have... How can I put this? The debut of Dana Brooks. Man, oh man, do I love her look. Love that look. Just really, really, really nice to look at. Big Cass. Maybe I'm nitpicking here. But if you're supposed to be portraying in this gimmick like a New York Italian New York guy, Cass, can you try to sound a little bit more Italian? The way you say Enzo Amore. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm nitpicking. But come on. Please. A little bit more. Make it look... I mean, it is about believability, ain't it? Chris Jericho in that jacket. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. That wasn't Chris Jericho's jacket. It was a made-up, fake-looking one. Chris Jericho had a $15,000 jacket. You wonder how expensive are his scarves, right? Dean Ambrose, I don't know. I'm a little bit tired of Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho again. It just continues to go on. Rest in peace to Mitch the Plant, and then rest in peace to Chris Jericho's $15,000 jacket. Dean Ambrose, you idiot. Where do we leave you off here? As far as Raw, I mean, it was, it was what it was. It really wasn't too exciting. I mean, it was an okay show. But I like how they, in that first promo there with Jericho and Big Cass, they were saying the new era. The new era. The new era. And, Big Cass didn't stumble, with his promo too much, so he did okay. New era. New era. I just hope. I look at all the possibilities of what's down in NXT with the roster call-ups. Word is that more talent will be fired. That means people got to take their place. Imagine the matches that we could have in this new era with the wrestlers that are down in NXT right now. Speaking of promos, just going back to it. My oh my, man. Roman Reigns gets a lot of slack for his lack of promo ability, quote unquote. But man, how does Callisto fly under the radar? And Rusev needs to take that title away from Callisto. Callisto's whole thing promo that it was on I think on the YouTube page or the WWE Universe. I think it was on the YouTube page saying how when he was trying to get sympathy, and his whole thing was, I'm a little guy. That was his whole thing of why we should feel he's a little guy. He's an underdog. He's a little guy. I mean, really? That's the best that you could cut as far as why you should win and why you think you're going to win? I mean, because I'm the little guy. Jesus, man. Callisto flies under the radar because everyone's too busy just knocking Roman Reigns on his promo. Listen, I know Roman Reigns is the heavyweight champion, but Callisto equally has a championship. Why doesn't his lack of promo ability get criticized? And listen, Callisto here, definitely not, he's definitely not Rey Mysterio. Not even close. Not even close. I hope all is well, and I look forward to speaking very, very soon.